What's going on, guys? UFC 255 back on pay-per-view. Figueiredo versus Perez. Two title fights in this card. Of course, the ladies with Valentina Shevchenko versus Maya. So we got two title fights. Overall, the card, I wouldn't say, I say there's a lot of good fights, but not a lot of great fights, right? It's pretty solid throughout the card. Nothing too exciting, but there are some good fights. Not the best pay-per-view I've ever seen. But yeah, we should have a good card. I'm excited for it. Anytime there's fights on Saturday, I'm always excited. I'm going to go over the main card with you guys, of course. And also go over the main prelim fight, which I think is a great fight. And you guys should be excited for. Last week, 1-1. We had a nice two-fight parlay with Murata and Desanios. It's a good, overall, it was a good card, I think. I think Felder obviously saved the card, so that was good. Desanios looked solid. He looked very good in there. He was just one step ahead of Felder, and he just had the grappling advantage, right? The grappling advantage was huge. That's why I did think he would win the fight. I did give it out to you guys as well on the video. And he dominated in the grappling department, right? There was definitely no ifs, ands, or buts who won that fight. And I still can't get over how a judge gave Felder the fight. It must have been just for like a thank you for coming out and saving the card type of agreement to say, oh, he won the fight, because it was 50-45 for everybody else from the two other judges. And this lead judge, he's been known for doing this. It's unbelievable. I don't know how these guys have jobs. Let me judge. I can do way better than this guy Lee. Unbelievable. I don't know how they have jobs. I don't know if it was a joke. I have no idea. The other ones were 50-45, and this guy gives it, what was it, 48-47. Unbelievable. But hey, shout out to Felder for stepping in there. True fighter, true company guy, true warrior. And, he did okay in the stand-up. Fairly even, I think, in the stand-up. Not too much of a difference. I still lean to Santos. I think he had some better shots. He cut up Felder's face pretty bad as well. So, yeah, just overall solid performance. I think he's a factor back going down to this weight class. And it's a new guy, that guys have to worry in the top 5. Love to see him fight Chandler. Chandler didn't want to take the fight. I would love to see that fight. See what happens there. But yeah, does Santos deserve the win? I didn't love the -108. Lay it. I did put in a parlay as well. And sometimes you got to lay it, right? Sometimes you got to lay it with these fights. And that's going to be the case here for this card. You're going to have to lay some juice if you like some winners here. Record stays the same, guys. Record stays the same. No best bets last week. I'm more selective with my best bets. All best bets and plays, guys, will be sent to subscribers on Friday or Thursday evening. I usually like to see the weight. Weigh-ins, of course. Check the weights and see how the cuts went. Some guys I already know how it's going to go, but some fights you want to see the weigh-ins. So I always suggest to watch the weigh-ins for most fights. The only thing is you can miss out on line value. So if you wait until the weigh-ins, you could miss out on some line value, which is one thing. So if I do like a fight before the weigh-ins, and I think there may be some line values, and I don't have any weigh-in concerns, I'll bet it. I'll send it out. But I usually wait for the weigh-ins, especially during this time, during COVID and all that. Like I always say, guys, please like and subscribe the video. It helps me out a lot. And also check out my website, systemsportscapping.com, for more information on how to become a subscriber, how to get my best bets in all sports, and receive detailed emails throughout the week. All right, guys, let's get right into it. Main event. Flyweight championship on the line. We got Figueiredo -300 versus Perez +240. This should be a fun one, guys. pace. Both guys coming forward. We all know the power Fig has, right, and has shown for this division. Heavy hands he has, and he's big for the division, right? He hits hard. He can knock out guys, which I don't see. You don't see a lot in this division, right? You don't see clean knockouts from standing. Fig's 19-1 in his MMA career, which is an outstanding record. His only loss was to Formega in 2019. It's fairly recent loss. However, after that, he went on a nice 4-fight win streak, beating solid and top guys like Pantoja, Elliott, and obviously Benavidez back to back. And it just wasn't close in the Benavidez fights. I do think Perez may be his toughest competition and challenge yet, guys. Ex-Contender Series guy. Dana must be proud. This is the first Contender Series guy to fight for a title. So it's big. It's big. It's big for Dana, big for Contender Series. And it's well-deserved, right? Winner of his last 9 of his fights. Winner 8 of his last 9 fights. Only loss was to Benavidez, who we did see, obviously, Fig beat both times. And after that loss, Perez won 3 in a row over De La Rosa, Espinoza, and his last win due to those leg kicks, deadly leg kicks. He hit that right spot, and Formega dropped. He couldn't continue. Now, this price is steep. It is steep at minus 300, guys. The value is definitely with Perez at plus 240. However, I think I can't get there because I do think, Figueiredo wins this fight. It's just, you got to decide, right? Are you going to lay minus 300 and put in a parlay? I don't like doing that. Even in 2-fight parlays, I try to avoid minus 300 unless I think it's 100% for sure. I think Perez is a gritty guy. I think he can hang around. I think he could try to wrestle as well. He would want to watch out with the submissions, though, on Figueiredo. He can be dangerous in that department. So you got to look at outcome here. And when I look at outcome, the value's just not there. KO, right? For it not to go 5 and Figueiredo to win this fight by stoppage, minus 200. It's not appealing. It's not something that, I'm running to bet, or even throwing in an outcome in a parlay, minus 200, right? Perez does have a chance to win this fight. According to my numbers, I have Figueiredo winning this fight. I would say 7 out of 10 times Figueiredo wins this fight. So take that for what it's worth. Outcome here, minus 200, not worth it, right? So if you do think Perez could win this fight, plus 240, sounds great. I won't be on it. I do think Figueiredo gets this fight done. I don't see it going 5. I do not see it going 5. The numbers will tell you that as well. I do think it goes some rounds, though. I don't think it's ended early like the Benavidez fight. I think it goes into the least second round. Second, third round, possibly. I just don't see it going 5. Perez is a tough guy, though. So I'm not going to say it's a lock that it doesn't go 5. However, that's what I would lean. For the fight not to go 5, maybe over in the rounds 1.5, 2.5, and Figueiredo get it done. But there's just no value at the outcome at minus 200. So I'm just gonna stay away from this fight, guys. I may get to a round prop betting, like a over in rounds. I just can't get there as of right now. This is right. It's priced right. The book has it right here. Value with Perez. Figueiredo minus 300. Steep. For you parlay players that play, a lot of parlays, which I do suggest against, throw Figueiredo in there. I won't be doing it though. Co-main event, another title on the line, guys, and this is another one where the line is just crazy and there's not much to talk about. Breaking down the fight in skill-wise, right? It's minus 1,400 for Shevchenko versus Maya. Maya plus 900. It's warranted, I think. She's one of the best fighters on the planet. Continues to impress, blowing through opponents. I don't see much different in this one, guys. She is better everywhere, in my opinion. Maya really doesn't have many impressive wins, if you look at it. Sure, she submitted Calderwood in her last fight, but I wasn't sold on Calderwood. Really, Calderwood was supposed to get that fight. This should be her. But Shevchenko couldn't fight at that time, so Calderwood said, yeah, I'll fight Maia, and took the chance. And Maia beat her, right, with that armbar. Maia is pretty solid on the ground. She is a black belt, but Shevchenko is just as good on the ground, if not better. Right? I just don't see any paths for Maia to win this fight unless it's a miracle submission. That's the only way Maia could win this fight, in my opinion. Right? Valentina obviously fought the much better competition, and for the most part always wins that higher level competition. This division just doesn't have any contenders to challenge her, in my opinion, guys. I think she has to move around, move up, move down. After I think she defeats Maia here, I think she should do that. I think she should get out of this division and try to move around, right? Yeah, so if you look at it from a standpoint of an outcome, we're obviously not laying minus 1,400. You don't want to even throw it in a parlay because it's not going to move the parlay, right? It's not going to do nothing to your parlay if you throw it in there. However, there is value here in an outcome. I like to find outcomes. I'm good at finding outcomes. And the KO has value at minus 188. Could this go to decision? Yes. It could go to decision, but it's 5 rounds, guys. Remember, this is a 5-round fight. And I do see Valentina finishing this, mid-fight. I think it can go to the 3rd, 4th round. I don't think it's going to end in the 1st round. But I think it can end later in the fight. So I do think there is value at minus 188. Look at that cut in difference in price. Minus 1,400 for her to win, and you can get it at minus 188 for her to finish this fight in the distance. So there's value there, in my opinion. So if you like Shevchenko, you're not betting minus 1,400. I think you're betting it to finish. Is it if they fought 10 times, I think it would be finished, 6 times. 6 to 7 times it would get finished. So it's not something that I'm going all in on, or it's going to be a best bet, the minus 188 for her to finish, but it's going to make my card. I do think Shevchenko just better all over. Maia, what she likes to do is pressure, and Shevchenko loves that. So if Maia's going to pressure with that style of boxing that she has, Shevchenko loves that. Loves to counter, loves to strike. And if it does get to the ground, Shevchenko will be able to hold her own there, right? The only thing you may want to think about is Valentina overlooking her, but I don't think she has that as a professional. She's very professional. I don't think she has that overlooking type of problem. She's going for the GOAT. She's going for one of the best women's fighters of all time, and I don't think she has that to overlook Maia. Maia's a good fighter, right? She's deserved to get here with that last win, but she just hasn't beat anyone impressive. She lost to Chookagian not too long ago, right? It's just nothing impressive from me that I see Maia going in there and making UFC history with probably the biggest upsets ever. It's just not going to happen. So Shevchenko minus 1,400, stay away. If anything, you just go with the prop minus 188 for her to finish, and you got to hope that she doesn't just decide to pick her apart for 5 rounds, because it could happen. She could just pull an Amanda Nunes, and shows that people were saying, oh, she doesn't have the cardio to go, let me just pick this girl apart for 5 rounds. It's possible, right? But if you want to bet this fight, that's the only bet. Minus 188, Shevchenko to finish this fight. Next fight, we got, look who's back, guys, Mike Perry. I'm surprised he's even in the UFC still after all these allegations, but they are allegations. Now, would the ex lie about that? I don't know. I watched some interviews with Mike Perry this week. They were asking him, and he denied it. Not a clear denial, but he somewhat denied it. I'm surprised, with all his issues and fighting old guys in bars, and then the ex-girlfriend or ex-wife. It's surprising, but hey, I like the guy. I like watching the guy fight. So you got him here minus 150 versus Tim Means. Tim Means plus 130, very game opponent. This should be a good one. Mike Perry, Platinum Perry is back. It should be a good fight. Means we'll have the reach here on Perry. He's been up and down in his career, right? Tim Means, win one, lose one. Win one, lose one. Tons of fights, though. He does have the experience, obvious, on Mike Perry here. It's definitely not going to be a boring one. We, of course, have Mike Perry with no corner once again. Well, if you want to say his corner is pregnant as a corner, and there's Buddy. Just somebody that doesn't really know MMA is in his corner, apparently, from what I've got from interviews here. But he looked good, Mike Perry, against Mickey Gall. He didn't get the finish, but he showed his overall skill set against Mickey Gall. He was able to get it to the ground. He was able to strike. He didn't get the knockout. I think we were chasing the knockout prop in that one. We did not get there, but he looked good with no corner. I think he fights better without structure, guys. Some people would think that's crazy to say, but not for him. He just likes to go in there and scrap. He fought someone on the street. That's how he fights. He doesn't want 3 guys telling him do this, do this, do this in the corner or a camp. He just likes to go in there, scrap, down to the ground. He'll take it to the ground. That's the type of fighter he is. Right? So Mike Perry minus 150, it's not too high. It's not something I love. I'm not all in on Mike Perry, but I think he can get it done here. Tim Means, we all know Tim Means. Scrappy guy. He has the reach. Very technical boxer. But I think Mike Perry can get it done, and I think Mike Perry can get a KO here as well. I think he is the better fighter out of the two. It's not something I'm going to be all in on. It's going to be a fight that you're going to want to watch. It could go the distance. It could. So it's not something I can say, don't take the under and here. There could be a knockout. Yes, there could be an early knockout. It is possible, but it's not something that I'm for sure on. So I don't have any props here with round betting. But yeah, if you ask me to take someone in this fight, it is going to be Mike Perry. Value, I guess, a little bit with Means here, but I think he goes in there with, he needs to continue fighting in the UFC. He has the daughter on the way. I think that's going to play in factor here as well. It's just how focused is he, right? This is why I don't like betting on Mike Perry fights. You go into the fight saying, did he train for this? How focused is he? He's busy with the wife. I think they're getting married or whatnot. They have the pregnant. He has 20 pounds to cut. This isn't a fight that you would want to bet after weigh-ins, guys, which I gave the example before. This is a fight you want to bet after the weigh-ins. Mike Perry might not even make weight, guys. So that's something to look at. Does that affect as much as some people think? It may benefit him coming in heavier. But he's not on no diet, guys. He's not like that. But he knows how to cut weight. He's done it for a while. So look at that. Watch this fight after the weigh-in. See what Mike Perry comes in. Tim Means is going to make weight. See how Perry comes in. I lean Perry to win this fight, though. Next fight here. Calvillo back. Calvillo is back. Minus 260 versus plus 225. Line's a little high here, but I understand it. We just seen Chookagian there. Is coming off a tough loss to Jessica Andrade. Got that weird punch in the stomach and couldn't continue, or I think it may have been a kick. And then that was it. It was a quick finish. Andrade, powerful fighter though. Solid fighter. Chookagian just couldn't take it. She was just bigger, stronger. I think this is a bad matchup for Katlyn. Just it's a classic striker versus grappler style. And I think it's just an ugly scrap win for Calvillo on the ground. Just taking her down, right? Chookagian is a volume striker and wins decisions. That's how she wins. She's not going to knock, but she could pull off a submission. I've seen it done before, but she's not known for it. Right? She wants to keep the fight standing, use her reach, and kickbox to win fights. Calvillo will look to grapple and just on the ground, make it scrappy, get it against a cage, grapple there. That's where this fight's going to end up, and I don't think it benefits Katlyn. Right? Another thing to look at here also is how locked in is Chookagian after talking about that baby fever last time. And it could seem like she's trying to get paychecks just so she doesn't have to fight much after. This is her 5th fight this year, guys. She's doing it. Is she doing it for paychecks and have that baby and then just stop fighting? It's possible. Now It's just hard to tell, right? I personally just don't love getting involved in lines like this for women's fights. You know, I notice most of my upset losses are when I bet on women's fights and women's as favorites. So I try to avoid it. I don't mind throwing Calvillo in maybe a 2-fight parlay at minus 265. I definitely won't be betting her straight up. Outcome, I do have an outcome here. It will be subscriber play. Small play, not a best bet. But yeah, I do think Calvillo gets this done here. Chookagian, I just don't know how locked in she is. I don't think this is a great matchup for Katlyn. Next fight here, guys. Paul Craig. Yes, Paul Craig is back with that amazing beard versus Mauricio. Shogun, who he's black. Plus 250. Sorry, plus 150. You got Paul Craig minus 170. Obviously, value is with Rua here, plus 150. This one should be fun. We can see some fun strikes and even some bunch of submission attempts. Shogun is out of his prime, yes. And the line, I think the line is right. Remember, these two fought. These two fought before, about a year ago, and it was a draw. I'm actually coming off a nice Shogun win over Nogueira in the summer. We had Shogun to win that fight. But he looked slow, guys. He didn't look the same, right? Paul Craig's going to be the faster guy in here. Shogun does have the power, right? He still has that power. He could knock out Paul Craig. However, look at the first fight, right? The first fight was even. It's very hard to bet on this side, and I would not lay minus 170 with Paul Craig in this fight, right? Paul Craig looks for submissions, guys, and he's not gonna submit Rua, right? It's highly undoubtedly that Craig's gonna submit Rua. I don't see it. So that's what this fight's gonna be. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be a battle. I don't see Craig knocking out Rua either. I think this could go decision. I lean Craig here, maybe by decision, but it's just on a side standpoint, minus 170 is it's too much. It's too much. These guys fought to a draw already. It's just I think Craig has a couple more avenues to win, and that's why I would lean him. And I just think he's the faster, more athletic guy in there. For Shogun, you know, he just looked slow in that Nogueira fight. It kind of worried me a little bit. And that wasn't a clear-cut win. It was close. It was on the edge of the seat type of bet. So lean Craig, maybe by decision. Think this fight can go over the 1.5. I haven't bet it as of yet, but that's what I would look. Remember, these guys came off a tie, and there's a reason why. Styles don't match up. Craig looks for those submissions. So Rua doesn't get submitted. You know, Craig really doesn't have the power to knock out Rua. Rua does, but he's slower. So there's not too many avenues to say, yeah, this is a clear-cut winner. I don't see it, but I do lean Craig to win this one. Leave you guys with the prelim main event. I really like this fight. I think this is a great fight, battle of two younger up-and-comer fighters. You know, obviously Moreno can't really say up-and-comer now. He is ranked second, but Ravel is. He's been on a nice streak here, coming out of nowhere. He's been looking good. Nice upset against France. We were on France that fight. Good value, and he keeps getting good value. Ravel's plus 162, Moreno minus 188. This should be a fun one, guys. Ravel has been on a nice run as of late. Big win, like I said, over France. That was his biggest win. You know, Moreno has that win as well over France. This is a step up for Ravel, though, right? This is his biggest competition as of yet. I like Moreno. I like what I see from Moreno. Tough Mexican fighter. I do that Formiga fight wasn't, you know, he won it by decision. I went back and watched that fight. It wasn't overly impressive, but it was good enough, right? He won the decision. Formiga's a tough fighter, lots of experience, right? Moreno was the younger guy going in there, so he does deserve this price of 188 in my opinion. I do think Moreno gets this done here. Because you got to look at it. Ravel, his path to victory is submission, in my opinion. Right? He's not going to knock you out. And Moreno, submissions. Right? He's good on the ground. If Formiga couldn't submit you, he has some crazy submissions, Formiga. If he couldn't, I don't see Ravel continuing this crazy streak and submitting Moreno here. And that's what I think his path is, right? I could see this fight going the distance. I could definitely see it going distance. You may want to look at the over 1.5 or 2.5 rounds. That may be a good play here. But this is going to be a fun one. It's going to be very high-paced. It's going to be interesting to see if it does get to the ground. Moreno does have, I think, the cleaner boxing. So we're going to see how this one goes. It's going to be fun. It's free. It's the main prelim. But definitely order that UFC 255. There's some good fights here. But yeah, this prelim is the main event. It is free. So definitely enjoy it if you decide not to rent the pay-per-view. Like I said, it's not a crazy pay-per-view. I'm not overly excited for it. But you got two fight title shot on the line. 2 5-rounders. It should be fun. Couple other good fights. But this main event for the prelims is exciting. Winner will get the next title shot, in my opinion. So lean Moreno and over 1.5 rounds. I think that is a good bet as well. All right, guys, that will do it. UFC 255. Excited for this card. Excited for any card, to be honest, guys. You know me. Always watching the fights, always breaking down. Check out me on Twitter. I post for each fight, the fight after the fight happens. Leave a comment or whatnot. I am active during the fights. On Instagram as well. Instagram system capping. I post free plays in the stories. Free plays in this new fleet as well on Twitter. I post free plays on Twitter as well in the story portion. It's called Fleet. It's new. It's pretty cool. So check it out there. I've been posting soccer, actually, free plays. Trying to get going there. Nice 2-0 so far with soccer plays. And like I said, guys, I bet all sports, not just the UFC, not just a one-dimensional handicapper. I can bet all sports at a high level. So check me out on systemsportscapping.com. Updated record each day, or after plays at least. So check me out there. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Please like the video. Please subscribe if you haven't. And until next week, like I always say, bet smart and know your limits. Take care.